went to work, beautiful Oklahoma morning, and then who would even imagine something like that could happen? In an instant, 9:02. The world, their lives changed, or our lives changed, the world changed.
Oklahomans were in shock, there's no question. Never before had anyone dreamed something like this could happen here, and no one knew yet what this really was.
We got there as people were coming out. They were just starting, the ones that could, and just these dazed people everywhere. They didn't know what to do or where to go or even what to say. Just that stunned face.
Kathy Tatum was working on a documentary at the time. She was just about to log some of her footage from a recent trip to Central America when the bombing happened only a few blocks away.
The bang hit, and then the shake. The shake came after the bang like an earthquake, and being a good California kid, I grabbed a door frame thinking it's an earthquake.
But this was no earthquake. Her husband, Leroy, flew one of the news helicopters in Oklahoma City. It's from the air. Kathy and many others saw just how horrible this situation truly was.
And I remember that one shot when the chopper came around the building and the smoke cleared, and you saw the building. It's like, oh my gosh, the building's gone.
Wow, holy cow! About a third of the building has been blown away.
Gary Griggs has been a Channel 2 photojournalist for nearly 4 decades. He remembers everyone being stunned and glued to the television. Then, he says, the adrenaline kicked in, and half the newsroom headed down the turnpike, including longtime anchor Jerry Weber.
See the emergency workers waiting just outside the bombed out building. They can hear survivors in there. They can even touch some of the survivors in there. And of course, there are people in there who did not survive.
Everybody was in disbelief. And almost anybody you talk to, they just can't believe something like this would happen in Oklahoma. And as you looked up at that building, you're just thinking it's like something out of a movie. This can't happen here.
We are seeing this for the first time. That some of the pictures might be shocking, but the wall's completely gone. Towers of rubble down below, and we are told that there is a need now for blood because of all the injuries.
I mean, there aren't words. There really aren't words for what we're seeing, because you could see some people were actually, kind of bloody and injured, but it was like they didn't know it. I had been to war zones before. I'd been in places that you shouldn't go, and this was worse.
As many as 60 to 70% of the buildings in downtown suffer from structural damage, and the effects of this blast have been felt a half-mile away.
I can't express the feeling when you saw that building in person. You just couldn't believe it happened in our backyard.
He wasn't alone. Everyone was having trouble believing what they were seeing with their eyes.
You can't take it in. You simply can't. Your mind doesn't want to believe it.
We may not have wanted to believe it, but it didn't change reality. We knew people had died. We knew people were hurt. And we knew people were trapped. So Oklahomans pulled themselves up by their bootstraps and got to work.
People walking around with less injuries, pitching right in to help those who were not so fortunate, who were a little more injured.
Before long, help was coming from every which way. People didn't know what to do, only that they needed to do something.
I mean, people were showing up with, just a box of sandwiches. People were showing up with water. They were showing up with brooms, like they could sweep it away. You can't sweep that away.
You can see the videos, like just people just running towards. Yeah, that's the Oklahoma spirit.
Everyone was figuring things out together. The news crews were no exception.
Yeah, there were cell phones in those days, but they came in a bag, and you had very few minutes. So it's not like you could be looking up on your phone and gathering information the way we can now. When I had a hard fact, I had a Sharpie, because everything was wet. Paper was wet, It's just a Sharpie on your hand at least would stay.
We were having to makeshift edit machines and edit out of our vans, because there wasn't no laptops back then. So this is the way we did things back then. I think back, wow, how do we do that?
I can remember this one producer out of Seattle. It had been raining since afternoon, and I looked like a drowned rat. And I certainly didn't have a makeup bag with me. She was like, "Why don't you fix yourself up before your live shot?" I said, that's burned in my brain. How could somebody ask that? My first thought is not, do I have lipstick and does my hair look good? It's, you want to know what's happening behind me, and what's happening is horror.
Seeing that horror up close was hard. Even seasoned journalists had to take a moment at times.
It truly was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life, and smelled. God, the smell.
Anytime you cover something like that with kids involved, like, it's just, you know, it kind of hits you in the heart, hits you in the gut. The kids in the daycare center, that was like, I had family, I have kids, that was gut-wrenching.
I will never comprehend the act. That somebody could deliberately know, I'm going to fill a truck full of stuff that's going to make a huge explosion and park it in a way that the babies are among the first to die.
Yeah, you come back home, you're like, you give your kids a big hug because, you know, you go through something like that. It makes you appreciate, you know, life, your family, kids.
Everybody who experienced the horror, it never leaves them. And they're just somewhat victims too.
And so an Oklahoma day that began in sunshine ends tonight in the rain. God's own tears, perhaps. I'm Jerry Weber in Oklahoma City.
For 3 decades, the Survivor Tree has been a beacon of hope, but its reach extends far beyond that sacred ground. There's hope growing right here, near the banks of the Arkansas River.
Being able to just sit under the tree and experience time with the tree, whether you know its background or not, is part of the wonderful things in life.